Balls Deep.
Welcome to Balls Deep, a humorous yet informative medical show with a mission of optimizing your performance in the bedroom, the bathroom, and the boardroom. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Pizzona, a board-certified urologist and CEO of Pizzona MD. We hope you enjoy. Now, let's jump right in. Stream Team, Dr. Joe Pizzona here for part 3 of our series on strength training. Brought Jeremy Hughes back here for another great episode. And Jeremy, I thought that we would piggyback off our last episode where we went into all the don'ts of the things you shouldn't be doing. How about with this episode, we get some of the do's? How do we actually implement strength training into our daily lives? You know, you and we share a lot of similarities. We're dads, we're business owners, we have partners who hopefully still like us and want to spend time with us. We have interests, but yet for both of us, we make sure that this is a priority for us. And so we all have the same amount of hours in a day, but we know there's a lot of busy people out there who maybe need to overcome some habits and really get this going. So how about we dive into a plan here for all our listeners?
Let's do it.
Awesome, man.
Balls deep.
All right, Jeremy. So where do you want to start? What's going to be the first big thing that people need to do and know about to say, do this so you can make sure you start your strength training journey?
I'm going to hammer it home. Goal. You've got to have a goal, because if it's not a lofty enough goal, it's not going to encourage you when life hits or when there's other things going on to sacrifice maybe a little bit of time to include your health and fitness. So 1, we need that goal, but then 2, we need to make it a non-negotiable. Mm-hmm. We do that with a lot of other things in our lives and things that probably shouldn't be taking up our time. So I think if we go ahead and we build that into our schedule, we make it a non-negotiable. And we also put it at a time of day where it's going to be less likely to get interrupted. So for a lot of our clients, that usually means the morning. You know, they have businesses, they have professions that it works later in the day. They may not like getting up at 6 a.m. and getting their workout in, but you know what? Life hits them less, or they get less phone calls at 6 a.m. in the morning than they do at 9 or in the afternoon or evening. So I think it's setting yourself up for success. And if there's times a day where you know it's probably not going to happen, don't keep on trying to make it happen and it falling through. So set yourself up, build it into the schedule like you would a business meeting or a date night or anything else. And then build the rest of your life around that.
Yeah, I mean, I think these are probably the 2 biggest things. I want to circle back briefly to that goal, and we talked about it in our previous episode. You know, you brought up that beautiful story of wanting to be the strong dad who's walking his daughters down the aisle one day. This really shouldn't be I want to just lose 5 pounds, or I'm just going to do it for this short period of time. It's got to be something deeper, something more important to you. I've started talking about this concept of, in order to be selfless for others, we've got to get selfish about our health. And I think my why is very similar. I mean, I do this because I want my kids to live long, healthy lives. And I know that one of the best ways I can do that is not by telling them, but by modeling it.
Leading and setting the example.
Exactly. And so I want to be there for my kids and grandkids as well. So, I have some selfish reasons as well. I work out because I just feel better. I mean, now it's a habit where if I don't do it, I don't feel good. Yes, I want to look good and fit in my clothes as well. But the real reasons are typically the family or those other things. So this is not the time for your goal to just be lose 5 pounds or have some short-term thing. You're talking about a bigger, deeper purpose. Is that fair to say?
100%. And those people probably aren't listening to us to begin with. They're not prioritizing that. But I think, yes, absolutely. You need to understand. And when you start to break it down, people they don't think about things a lot. They're such in the grind that they never slow down to really take a stock in what's going on and where the ball is rolling. So I think if you can really have a talk with someone and understand their fears in life, like things like that. Like I never want to be able to not take care of myself. Like I don't want to be an assistant living by myself. Just whatever it may be for that person, is helping that person. What we're great at too at Paragon is every program works. We talked about everything does, then everything stops working. But the best program, what's the best nutrition? What's the best training? It's the one that you can consistently do. Mm-hmm. And it's the one that doesn't change your life or overwhelm you. it allows you to sacrifice a little bit of time, which people, when they do start to sacrifice a little bit of time, they understand it gives back so much more. It's like depositing a little bit of money in the bank, and then you're getting 30%, return on that investment.
Yep,
so
yep.
it's creating a plan that's optimal and efficient, and they can see results, because if somebody doesn't get results, they're not going to stick to something anyway. But it's being able to help them understand the vision of how just a little bit of sacrifice of time is going to allow them to show up and be the dad they want to after they've been at work all day long. Because there's a lot of people that make it through work, but then when they go home, they don't show up, and they're not their true selves, and they can't give that energy or that love to their wife or their kids. They're at work. There's a lot of people that work a lot, but they don't get a lot done beyond a certain point. So it's
Right.
it's getting, it's becoming more efficient in your work, so you get more done in less time. So it's when you start moving to this healthy, you start putting habits in place that should have been there from the start that we've got away from. And we all have to prioritize different things at different times in life. But it's realizing that this is an investment in your health, this small time, but it's going to give back so much more. And it's going to allow you to show up in every area of your life and be the person you want to be.
It can be the most loving thing we do for others is focusing on our own health, because I think that story probably resonates with a lot of parents, right? You've worked, quote, really hard. Really, you were just in the car driving and sitting at a desk or doing whatever. And how effective were you? Who knows? But then you get home and you're sitting there. Yeah, you're with your kids, but you're scrolling on your phone and they're playing video games. Yep. Are you really there for them? And what sort of behavior are you modeling if you yourself are not moving your body and eating right? And I know that's what drives me, and I'm sure it drives you as well. So I think for the listeners, figuring out that why and that goal of truly, why am I doing this? And that as parents, as spouses, as children to aging parents, getting selfish about our health is really the best thing we can do for all of them. Because if we're not well, how can we take care of others?
And most of us, we take care of others in some type of way. It's either the housewife that does it, has a huge job and does everything else.
God bless, yeah.
Or it's like us that works sometimes 40, 50, 60, 80 hours a week at times to provide for our family. So it's being able to, all of us, we serve others. We have to take care of other people in our life. And if we want to be able to do that, not have them have to stop and take care of us, then we have to make ourselves a priority.
Yeah, love it. So number one, have that strong why, have that goal for why you're doing this. The second thing you kind of brought up, I want to dive into a little bit more, is this idea of the non-negotiable in the schedule. And it amazes me how, especially, back to parents, because again, that's what we're in the middle of, right? We will go to our kids' basketball game come hell or high water, right? Like
games. Did you say games?
Games,
Plural.
Games, practices, you name it, right? We will not miss that for anything. But yet, we won't consistently take even 30 minutes a day, an hour a couple times a week to work on our fitness. And again, going back to that why, it's the most loving thing we can do for our kids to say, no, I've got to work out. And you talked about sort of the timing of things. So help us a little bit more with some of these practical tips. So would you recommend people, obviously if you're with a trainer, you're paying to show up. I think that's a great way.
It's pretty good accountability.
There's pretty good accountability, right? But even for those people who don't have trainers, I mean, we talk about putting that on your calendar and your phone, and how do you help people work through I'm busy working all day and then I come home. What are ways to work around that and fitting in those workouts and making that non-negotiable?
So I think we just have to push ourselves to begin with, to be a little uncomfortable, because so many of us right now are comfortable being uncomfortable. And it's the new baseline for ourselves. It's going to take a little bit of work, and it's going to be a couple bumps along the way. But I think even if you don't have a gym that you go to, if it's something you do, just you make a habit of first thing in the morning, go ahead and get up. A lot of our clients, as soon as they get up, we like for them to move. 20 minutes. It could be walking. It could be walking in circles in your living room. I don't care. Trying to get some light and then trying to eat. Trying to get that food in to really get the body moving in the regulatory ways that it should. But it could be things as if you're going to the grocery, instead of parking, we're driving up and down 2 or 3 aisles to try to find that closest spot. Why don't we park on the far spot and maybe not get our doors banged up, and then also get some steps in at the time. So if it's a busy, a professional at work, and they're at their desk all day long, then we'll have a steps goal. So we'll have them track their steps. It could be Apple Watch, something like that, whatever works for them. Or it could be simple as, okay, if you're going to get a little walking desk or a walking treadmill under their desk, and the steps ramp up from there. You're going to get it from your desk every hour and a half or every 2 hours. Walk to the bathroom, get a drink, take a small, get a little supplement or something like that. So it's just finding a place that you just, it's not about being motivated. Motivation gets you to start thinking about this. It's the discipline. And you become disciplined by saying you're going to do something, putting things in place. And don't overwhelm yourself. I think that's the problem. People, they start out with these, okay, well, I'm going to get in shape. So I'm going to do 6 days of cardio. I'm going to do 60 minutes on the treadmill every day. I'm going to do this.
Happening.
And it ain't happening.
Yeah.
So start small so you can, if you get a win, anything that shows you a win is a confidence builder. So it may be getting up and walking for 10 minutes or 5 minutes. I don't care what it is, as long as it's something moving you towards that goal. And once you get that in place of being able to do those little things, then you can build upon something. So it's like a pyramid, right? It's like the bigger the foundation to a pyramid, the more room that you have to build the height on that pyramid. Same thing with us. The more we can start to do little things along the way and sprinkle those in, then when you are successfully doing that, you can build upon that. But if you always try to do too much out of the gate, or you try to, I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week, but you live 40 minutes away from the gym you're going to, it's probably not a reasonable thing that's you're going to be consistent with. So don't worry about being a perfectionist. Don't worry about black and white. There's a lot of gray area that people just lived in that area of doing something. Then they're going to see results, and then they'll be able to have that confidence, and then they'll be able to take that next step and then add to it and add to it. And that's just the way you're successful in life in anything.
Yeah, you talk about the power of habits here, right? I mean, it's really a matter of setting yourself up for these easy wins, because we got to play with our human psychology here. This is what it's all about. I mean, it's not like most of us don't know what to do or don't have any idea of, oh, how do I get well? Well, you have some general concept, but it starts with overcoming that psychology. And so that idea of easy wins, right? Saying, hey, listen, today you've just sat on the couch the whole day. Tomorrow, just park further away when you go grocery shopping.
Yep.
Carry your own groceries. And we're seeing a lot of data, aren't we, Jeremy, where even bursts of exercise or movement of even a minute or two, walking upstairs, going up a hill, is showing actual health benefits. So yes, we'd love for everybody to get into a gym with a trainer at least 3 days a week and do an hour of strength training. That's the ideal.
Sure.
But what's the next best alternative? It's finding 10 to 15 minute chunks several times a day, which is what you alluded to earlier, to just move your body. And so we can't keep worrying about the ideal and think, well, if I can't do the ideal, I'm going to do nothing.
Right.
Right. Everybody has 15 minutes. Everybody can get out of bed and do what you said of go for a 20-minute walk. I mean, one thing I've started doing, the lunch hour, you've got an hour, and most doctors, we don't really get to eat, but, luckily I'm building a business where we're a little bit different. We're not like that, but, takes me 10 minutes to eat. I then go for a 50-minute walk over lunch. And that's what a lot of my team members do.
Yep.
It's a great time to go do a boot camp class, or just go hold some plank, do some push-ups or squats in a conference room. I mean, so this idea of exercise snacks, which I think Andrew Huberman came up with, I love that. We got to just shift our mindset to thinking working out only looks like X. Yes, we'd love it, but if you can't do that, you should probably still be doing these other things.
You've got to create an identity of the person you want to become and do what they do. It's like with the Olympics or anybody at the professional level, they already started to do the things it took to be that gold medalist 4, 8, 12 years before. They didn't all of a sudden believe that they could do it. And okay, when I become a gold medalist, then I'll work out more.
Right.
I'll maybe tighten up my nutrition. I'll sleep better and have better sleep quality and get more rest. They knew what they wanted to achieve, and they knew that they needed to do certain things to get there. So they created that identity of that person that they in their mind they envision, that just gets them put a huge smile on their face that allows them to do everything they want to. You've got to start to live like that person that you want to become.
Yeah, I love that. Just saying, I'm just a healthy person, and healthy people take the stairs.
Yep.
Park far away from the grocery store, and take lunch breaks by walking, right? This is all great, man. So, another thing that I got out of that was this idea of these short, intense movements and periods can really get you big results. And it's not always about that hour-long block, but if you can, get it in your calendar, make it non-negotiable, and a training session, I think, is a great way to do it. You put your money down, you're being held accountable, and do that. What's another thing here, Jeremy, as people are thinking about planning out for their strength training and their sort of their exercise, other things they can do to make it more likely it's going to happen?
I think you got to focus on your recovery and kind of stress, kind of meditation, whatever it may be for you. I know with me personally and a lot of our clients, it's if you want to lower your stress in life, and most of the goals, people after they achieve certain things, certain levels of wealth, certain items, toys, cars, whatever it may be, there's not real happiness in that stuff. So it's being able to have peace in life if you want to lower your stress. And to me and a lot of people, and I think most people are missing the boat, I think you need to walk with Jesus Christ. Faith allows you to have peace in life and will lower stress. But the recovery. So I think it's sleep quality too. So a lot of people, they want to burn body fat, but then they're not willing to sleep more than 4 hours. They stay up watching TV, Netflix and stuff like that, or they're on their phone scrolling. Well, first thing is we need to be in bed at a certain time. So focusing on like a sleep hygiene, making sure that we pick a time that we can try to be in bed at that same time every night. Yeah, try not to look at screens. There's a lot of stuff that goes in there, but trying to go to bed is a very important thing at the same time all the time. Is getting out of bed. A lot of people, they'll have like weekend jet lag from sleep because they won't sleep very much during the week, but then they'll sleep 2 or 3 hours later in the weekend, and it just screws up everything for them when it comes to sleep quality. So kind of establishing those guidelines, making sure they get at 6 to 8. We'll say 6 to 8. So everybody says 8 hours, but some people can function on less. But I think if you're not getting at least 6 hours of sleep, the dysregulation you have in blood sugar, cortisol levels, you can't overcome a lot of that stuff. So it's a very important place that people say, I just don't have time to do something. Focus on your sleep, because if you start to have higher sleep quality, you will feel better. Your body will start to be healthier, and you'll start to move more naturally just from having more energy and more focus in life. So it's setting yourself up with things like that. And then low intensity cardio too. It doesn't have to be killer stuff that you do. It's doing low intensity, because a lot of people, if they're stressed, their trainers will put them on the most intense type of cardio, Tabata and HIIT and all this stuff, which is great and has its place. But if you're stressed, you already have so many sympathetic stressors on the body that your body doesn't know how to cope with that. So we want to do everything that we can to reduce that stress load, and just walking, going for a walk for 30 minutes a day if possible, and break it up if you need to in 10-minute segments. That's going to activate your parasympathetic nervous system. It'll calm the body, and then the body will start to respond. So people that try to just force it with these tough workouts and they don't want to do anything else, they don't get the results they're looking for, because they're completely missing the overall health. Health comes first, and then the physical and all the other things changes, they'll fall in place. If you do it the other way around, you're not going to be healthy, and you're not going to get the results you're looking for either.
I love this because it's counterintuitive. The fact that in order to be successful with your strength training, you have to get really intentional about your recovery. And I love that you tied in the different aspects of recovery: spiritual, mental and emotional, showing gratitude, believing in a higher purpose, whoever it may be. The idea of sleep, I've talked about it as, it also lowers your testosterone levels.
100%.
Talk about, you want to get good strength training. If you ain't sleeping, your T levels are that of a man 10 years older.
Right.
And so, so key to get that recovery in, and the walking as well. So it's not go at all costs here, 24/7. So, and I think that's probably where a lot of people fail, is that scenario you talked about earlier. Well, I got to hit my resolution, so I'm going to go to the gym 40 minutes away 5 days a week. It's probably too much, right? Especially if you've been doing nothing.
Yep.
Let's get there 2 to 3 days a week. Let's go with good form. Let's stay healthy, and let's start building up these series of small wins. I mean, I don't think you and I are where we are today because we did something different a month ago. It's been a decade's journey of working out, right? And it's like each step along the way, you needed easy wins. And now you look back 20 years before and you're like, oh, I've come a long way. but it wasn't just, there was some day we snapped our fingers and we're hitting the gym 8 hours a day.
Right.
So I love that you brought up this recovery. Jeremy, what's one last sort of actionable thing here that people can do to make sure they have a successful strength training plan?
I want to give you one quick one, but I'm going to follow up one last thing on the recovery.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very, very important is having some type of, maybe doing like a gratitude journal.
Yes.
Because people that are stressed, it's hard to be stressed if you're grateful.
I love that.
And everybody has something. I don't care who you are. There's something to be grateful for, even if it's another day on this earth, another breath.
Absolutely.
Whatever it may be. It's starting to have your mind shift from a place of stress, of maybe being of a place of difficulty, to seeing the gratefulness that everything that we've been blessed with. Because if you get your mind to start looking for that, then everything else becomes easier. Because when you're stressed, it's hard to fit in and make yourself do all these extra things. But when you're grateful and your mind starts looking for all these things of gratitude, that's what it starts focusing on, and the stress starts to go away. And then you have more energy, and you can devote the energy you do have to things like we're talking about. And it becomes easy to follow through on those at that time.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to simultaneously have a negative and a positive thought.
100%.
Right. And if you're listening to this podcast, you have a lot to be grateful for. You've got running water. You've likely got a home. You've got some sort of device to watch us two clowns talk about this stuff. So,
and if you're at a point in
lucky.
life too, we're talking about all these things. Like, it's a gift to be able to have. I think people see it as a chore to have to change their habits.
Yeah.
It's a gift. Like, if you're still on the front end and you haven't had some major heart attack or stroke,
absolutely, some
disease, like you have the ability to change this and set the course of your life for whatever you want it to be. And if you choose not to, well, then there's repercussions for stuff. But it's what we're talking about. These are small, easy things to do that build up big wins over time. But it's being able to understand that, hey, this is a gift. It's a gift for me to be able to go work out at the gym 3 times a week. It's a gift for me to have cardio to clear my mind and focus on myself. This is a gift I have. And if you look at it as a gift, if you're grateful, then things become much, much easier in life versus somebody just coming from a place of behindness or difficulty or whatever it may be, just whatever you're going through at that time. So very much mental as well.
No, I love that, Jeremy. I mean, I think that's a great concept that doesn't get talked about enough. What do you have as sort of a final sort of tip here for our listeners?
So I think once we talked about kind of move beyond the injuries, we've created that structural balance that we're looking for so the body's healthy and resilient, is focusing on short, intense workouts. There's no need to be going over an hour in workouts. It's what they've shown is testosterone, growth hormone. Those things start to decline after that. So even if it's 30 minutes, it's being able to come in, focus, and not spend 2 to 3 minutes between sets. So what are some things that we could do for that? You can superset. So you could do one exercise back to back. So start with one exercise like a chest press. We're going to go work the opposing muscle, and that's a lot of the workouts that we do to save time.
Yeah.
So we still want rest to be able to perform set after set, because the central nervous system kicks in on the second and third set, and you perform, like you alluded to before.
Yeah.
You perform better on that second or third practice of whatever you're doing. So when that kicks in, we still want rest, but if we, instead of sitting around resting 2 to 3 minutes in between our sets, you do an exercise, then maybe you rest for 30 seconds to a minute, and then you go do a different exercise, and then you come back to the first one, and you go back and forth like that. So each exercise is essentially still getting the 2 minutes of rest, but now you're just being more active in between, and you're getting a lot more done in that time. So I think pairing exercises together is a really good thing. And then once you get to intermediate level, being able to throw like drop sets or different intensifiers on. So instead of doing 4 sets, maybe we do 1 set, and then the second set is an all out. We're dropping the weight. We're going again. We're dropping a weight. You're yelling at me, telling me back off. I'm telling you, come on, Joe. That's all you got. Like,
I'm usually huffing and puffing. I'm
right.
not saying much when I'm working out.
You're on the push-up. We're grabbing you up and down on the push-ups. Like it's that intensity. Once you've created an ability to be able to showcase that, it's just being short and intense with the workouts.
Yeah.
And not a lot of junk volume. It's being very focused with that.
I know that's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, going back to that idea of working out doesn't need to look like an hour of torture 5 days a week.
No.
You can make it a lot shorter and get some gains. You can do it less frequently, but you've just got to get really intentional with what you're doing.
Correct.
Yeah. I love it. Well, Jeremy, this is fantastic. I mean, I learned a lot today. I've really enjoyed the opportunity, and I'm grateful that I met you and have been working out with you and your awesome team at Paragon. And folks, these guys know what they're doing. And I can't stress enough. I went in with this mindset. I know everything. I'm a doctor, right? Like, I've been doing this, I've studied this, but it's really been game changing. And it's not so much even how I look, it's truly how I feel. And I feel a sense of calmness. I feel clarity with what I'm doing when I go to the gym. I just feel better, and as a busy dad of 3 kids running my own business, like,
you can't have too much energy.
Yeah, exactly. I need all the energy I can get, but I feel really good. And I feel like I'm resilient and can deal with these stresses. And I've had people comment, like, I tell them, I share my story of what I've been through personally and professionally. And they go, how the hell do you do all that? And I say, well, it's because I get really selfish about my health. That is non-negotiable for me. Like, I'm doing this and I don't care what it takes. Now, it takes some aligning with your family and your partner,
Sure.
right? Like, you've got to get in the same page with your
good support
with
system.
your partner. Absolutely. And if you've got someone who doesn't believe in working out and you're trying to do all this, it's going to be harder. So I'm just grateful that we've had this opportunity to cover all this. If it's all right with you, I'd like to see if I learned the correct stuff today and give a quick rundown.
Yeah, let's see what you learned.
Just the tip.
All right, folks. So number 1, be non-negotiable with your schedule. Okay. You've got to get selfish about your health to be selfless for others. Put it in your calendar, change your mindset from, this is something I got to do, to I'm a healthy person and I'm just going to get this done. Number 2, have a goal. Make sure you have a strong why as to why you're doing this. And it shouldn't be, I want to look better for that wedding in a couple months. It should be something deeper and more emotional, something tied to your family, your loved ones, your future self, being able to get up off the floor without someone helping you, not being in that assisted living home one day. You got to have a strong reason for doing this, because there are going to be moments you're going to feel like just sitting on the couch. Number 3, the key is consistency, not perfection. We always talk about showing yourself love and grace on Balls Deep. Show yourself love and grace in the gym. What's more important is that you consistently do this and that it doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to have good days and bad days, but just get out there as often as you can. Number 4, build in that recovery. If you are stressed and constantly going and think you got to work out 6-7 days a week at all costs, it's just a matter of time before you burn the candle and there's going to be nothing left. So show some gratitude, believe in that higher power, get out and walk, get some good sleep. We've talked about these pillars of wellness before. They're essential if you want to really get successful strength training. And then lastly, you can really get good results from short, intense workouts. Get out of this mindset that it has to be an hour and that it's the only way you can do it. Just park further away from the grocery store, carry your groceries, take the stairs, go for a 20-minute walk over lunch, get down the ground and do some push-ups. I mean, there's really no excuse. If you're not working out, it's just not a priority enough for you right now. And give yourself some grace and show that in these short moments, you can make big gains. Jeremy, did we do a good wrap up here?
I give you A
Okay.
minus.
All right.
A
So
minus.
I got a room for improvement, right?
Absolutely. Higher level.
Absolutely. Well, listen, man, if you'd be up for it, I would love to have you back. I mean, I think this is fantastic. I appreciate what you've done for me in my life and helping out our Pizona MD patients. And I'm really excited to see what we can do where we have a true partnership between a physician and an expert in exercise and nutrition. And we start working together because we're a pretty sick country and we're not getting healthcare right. We're not that healthy. And I think it's only in partnerships like this, we're going to really take it to that next level.
I like the supplemental side of things. I was talking to my team last night. We were at a dinner and I was telling them just how proud of the serving that they do, their hearts, their passion for what they do. And I said, you know what? I've never considered myself the best at anything, or definitely not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But I think whenever you have professionals like we have at our team, it's everybody brings something different to the table and that's unique. And no one in and of themselves is perfect. But as we bring that together as a team, we get pretty darn close to that. And I think the same thing with your patients in your practice. And then when we have the health and fitness on our side and your new wellness programs that are coming out, I'm super excited about those. I think that's amazing. Is being able to, yes, we're going to always treat or set up programs based on our discipline and how we see things, but I think nothing's perfect. But when you bring things together like we're talking about doing, it's pretty darn close to that. And I think for people to have a support system, even if they don't have that at home, to find experts that can surround them, that it can empower them and help them to have confidence in achieving those goals when maybe nobody else is cheering for them and wanting them to have that. Is anytime you have a team of like-minded people around you that know your goal, know your want, know your why, you're going to be successful with that, just like anything in life. So I thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been great getting to know you. I love to see where this journey goes. Yeah. And I think both of us, we just care and we want to serve our communities and help others. And it's when you do that, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it perfectly. You take a master in his or her craft and pair him with a supplemental sort of team, and you combine that with lots of love, lots of empathy, lots of cheerleading. I think the results that we can get for our patients is pretty incredible. And so I'm grateful for this opportunity, Jeremy. Thanks for coming on, and we will definitely have you back.
Sounds good.
Awesome, man. Well, Stream Team, hopefully you enjoyed this format. If not, let us know. Give us some comments on YouTube. Please subscribe. We're really dedicated to getting you actionable information from trusted professionals. There's too many pseudo professionals out there. There's too many people not making this approachable. We like having fun on this show. We like giving you things that you can go, hey, I learned something, and go do that today. So please get up, move your body today, go sign up for that strength training class. And please remember to show yourself a little bit more love and kindness. We're all works in progress, and these are opportunities to grow. Thanks. Have an awesome day.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Balls Deep. If you'd like to join our Stream team of listeners, please click the subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform. For more information about our practice, Pozzona MD, please visit pozzonamd.com. This podcast is for informational purposes only, and the content is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice. The show does not constitute the practice of medicine. No doctor-patient relationship is formed through this podcast or any of the social media channels related to this show. The use of this information is at the user's own risk. Users should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice from any medical condition they have, and they should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions.